we have always pursued profitable growth. And I think it's made us a better business and allowed us to have the money to reinvest into every single project that we want to pursue and really focus on building the biggest edible gifting company in America.
Welcome to Midland Money Mindset, your weekly dose of inspiration and insights to ensure you enjoy each step of your journey. Whether you're saving for the future, planning your next big adventure, or simply looking to add more joy to your life, you've come to the right place. Now, let's dive in.
Get ready for a story that will inspire, surprise, and maybe even change the way you think about business and innovation. Today, we're joined by Rachel Solomon Fascitelli, the powerhouse entrepreneur behind Boarderie, the first brand to deliver fully curated, chef-crafted cheese and charcuterie boards nationwide. From securing a game-changing deal on Shark Tank to landing a spot on Oprah's Favorite Things, Rachel has redefined edible gifting in a way no one thought possible. Her journey is packed with resilience, strategic brilliance, and lessons every entrepreneur, aspiring or seasoned, needs to hear. If you love stories of bold ideas, big risks, and even bigger rewards, you won't want to miss this one. I'm Larry Sprung, your host for the Midland Money Mindset and founder and wealth advisor of Midland Financial. Let's dive into today's show. Well, I know our listeners are really excited today for our conversation with Rachel Solomon Fascitelli, the co-CEO and co-founder of Boarderie. Welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me, Larry.
Thank you. So listen, we're going to spend a lot of time on what you're doing today with Boarderie. But before we do, our listeners are really fascinated with the entrepreneurial journey. So can you share with our listeners your experience? What led you up to being a co-founder at Boarderie?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of these things happen by accident, right? It's a happy accident. You're in the right place at the right time and you have the right attitude and you meet the right person. And that's really what happened for me. I was living in New York, working in finance, and I came down to Florida, where I'm originally from, to visit my family. And I met my partner, Aaron, who had spent over 20 years building one of the most successful catering businesses in the country, really high-end special events company. And so when COVID hit, all of his events had been canceled. He was trying to find a way to stay afloat, and their best-selling product was cheese and charcuterie boards. So he started developing a product that could be shippable so he could stay afloat during COVID. And that's when we met, and we launched Boarderie in 2021.
Amazing. Amazing. I just love those stories because you did not, prior to this, you did not have an entrepreneurial background, right?
No. So I was very young, actually, when I met Aaron, and I'm still young, right? So I was, I think, 24, and I had graduated college 2 years prior. I had been working in finance. I had done all my internships at banks, big banks in New York City. And yeah, I think I was a little burnt out from that and wanted something that had more of a creative outlet. And really, when it started, it was a passion, right? I got involved with Aaron. He had this amazing idea, this amazing energy, this great team and passion for what he had been doing. And everything went from there.
Yeah. So leading up to Midland's 20th anniversary last year in 2024, we were searching for a way to help celebrate with the families we serve. And one night, my wife was watching Shark Tank, which we often do, and said, hey, that's it. And you, Boarderie, got offers from 4 out of 5 sharks, which is unbelievable because that doesn't happen very often.
Thank you.
And from home, being on that show, it looks amazing. What was your real life experience like on that show? Because we have had other Shark Tank guests on. I don't know if you're familiar with Coco Vinny or Brittany Hodak or Blaine Anderson. And it's been interesting to hear each of their experiences. So we were hoping you could share yours today.
Yeah. So we actually started Boarderie, and I'll give you a little backstory. So we started Boarderie as a fulfiller of this product. We created an amazing product. We wanted to disrupt the edible gifting space. Aaron had developed the first shippable cheese and charcuterie board. And so we had no experience in marketing or branding at all. We just had a great product and figured out how to produce it. And so from there, the question was, how do we tell the world about this? How do we share this amazing product? And our first thought was, we go to every major online retailer and we get them to sell our product, Williams-Sonoma, Harry and David, and we ship it to the customer directly. So we got on all these third-party platforms. And so over time, we were really excited about how many people had accepted the product, but they weren't marketing the product and they weren't putting the word out there about it in the way that we wanted them to. And we always assumed these big fish are going to sell way more than we possibly could on our own. And so we applied to Shark Tank our first year in business and we weren't accepted. And then the second year in business, we applied again. And it was really the perfect timing because we had started to figure out that maybe selling through these big online retailers wasn't actually the secret sauce and that we had way more passion about the product. And if we got out there on social media and through our own advertising and figured it out, we could sell more. And so we launched our website, boarderie.com, in the late summer of 2022. And we went on Shark Tank. Our episode aired in November of 2022. And so our Shark Tank experience was incredible. It is exactly like you see on TV, right? You just walk out there, you do your funny little skit, which we practiced probably over 1,000 times in our office. And it's an amazing experience. The adrenaline's incredible. You're nervous before you go on, but then once you're out there, you never want to leave. And they're really interesting people. They were very kind to us and impressed with what we had built. And ultimately, we went with Lori, which has been an incredible partnership.
And for you, because we've heard stories, I know that we've talked about it here on the show before, but, listeners and watchers of the show have a tendency to think, you get the deal, you walk out and it's a done deal. And it's really not the case. There's a long due diligence process. Some cases it could take, a year or years for that deal to get done. For you and your experience, what was that time period between getting that yes on the show and actually having the deal go through with Lori?
So it was a relatively quick process for us, I have to say. We had a great episode. And I think that the moments between the sharks where they were trying to outbid each other really created some drama that they wanted to air. And so our deal moved very quickly. I have a background in finance and we had a very sophisticated due diligence. And so we had put together, a 300-page document of absolutely everything they would need to know. And so that really allowed us to move fast and get the deal closed. And yeah, it's been an amazing partnership.
Amazing. So, and I'm assuming Lori has been extremely helpful to your success since that show in 2022, right?
Yes, for sure. Lori really understands our customer. She's passionate about the product, which is really important to us. I think we're the boots on the ground, but she has a lot of amazing ideas and just her exposure and her audience has been unbelievable for us. And just being on the show in general, right? It gives you a lot of credibility. We're able to tell our story. And I think today there aren't a lot of businesses that are in this space who necessarily have a real story behind them and a family-oriented approach to gifting and edible gifting in particular, right? You're ordering gift baskets from large corporations where it doesn't really feel thoughtful or curated. And being able to get up there and tell our story and continue to tell our story over the past 3 years has really driven the brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definite differentiator. I will tell you, a lot of those bigger businesses that do those gifting programs, packages, baskets, etc., many times we pass over them because the deliverable, the food or the snacks or whatever their thing is tends not to be great. It doesn't taste great. It doesn't look great. But that is not the case with your package for sure. Do you know finances can be joyful with your partner? We created a fantastic guide for couples to start their journey surrounding their finances. Head over to Midland.us/couplesjoy to download your free copy today. Don't miss out. Start bringing more joy into your financial conversations. Now, when you mentioned when you started out, you were really working hard with places like Neiman Marcus and Costco, and you mentioned Williams-Sonoma and Harry and David to really do the B2B business. And then prior to going on Shark Tank, you kind of made this shift before that of going B2C and going direct to the consumer. Obviously, since you've stuck that way, it's been beneficial to you. But what was the, aha moment for you guys that said, hey, this is definitely the way to go, and this is going to take us to where we want to go versus the B2B B2B model?
100%. That's a great question. I think that's the pivotal question of our business. So many small businesses do not recognize that marketing and being able to tell your story and sell your product yourself is the most important thing. So after about a year of getting on these third-party platforms, and I had tried to negotiate deals where we co-advertised and where we got in their emails, and I got to the point where I said, you know what, we're just going to do this ourselves and we can do it better. And so I found a freelance web developer on Upwork, and I designed our website in Canva. It was just us, right? We didn't know anything about this.
We love Canva here.
And yeah, exactly. Canva is an amazing tool. So we designed our website in Canva. I hired a freelance developer on Upwork, and he built our site. And within 1 month, we were doing more revenue on Boarderie.com than through every single other third-party channel we were selling. And it was because we figured out that we knew we had an incredible product, right? Handmade every day. We had the quality, the exceptional process that we had put together to build this was all in place. We just needed to throw fuel on the fire, right? So I started making videos in my kitchen, TikTok style videos, Instagram style reel videos, and we just learned Facebook Ads Manager and we started launching ads. I had a freelance person in the marketing space basically teach me everything from scratch. And he's actually joining the team full time 3 years later, which is amazing. And so, yeah, we just started running videos and they performed unbelievably well. People were receptive to the product. They loved the concept of having something fresh and unique and, thoughtfully curated. Again, it's that experience. We call it eventertainment. You want something where it feels like you put a lot of thought and effort into sending something to someone who you really care about. And we put so much thought and effort into making sure that the people you love receive something that feels special. And so it just took off from there, really, truly. It was an unbelievable transition. And now 99% of our business is on Boarderie.com. So the one thing I always tell every founder is do not underestimate your ability to market your product yourself and make sure that you understand the mechanisms through which you're doing that, because it's the number one expense in the business and it's the number one driver of growth. And there's nothing more important than that. So if you have the ability to learn new softwares and systems and how it works, and you understand your product margins well enough to, as every founder should, right? And you make an effort to understand the marketing side of it and what growth costs and how to efficiently run that, it's everything, because owning your customer data is the most important thing.
I agree. And, having the flexibility to make that shift and being, able and ready to do that is hugely beneficial too, because there are so many businesses that would have been like, oh, can't do this. Let's move on to the next idea. And just that simple pivot has, led to exponential gains as a result. So credit to you guys.
Absolutely.
One of the challenges I would imagine, when you're trying to do this curated, and we saw it live with the gifts that we ordered for the families that we serve in 2024, and I think a lot of small businesses face is the cost of shipping. I think our listeners would benefit from hearing how you and your team were able to use the sales data that you have with FedEx and UPS and how you've now been able to basically build a relationship with them to help drive that cost down.
Mm-hmm. And that's another big thing, right? We're one of the largest overnight shippers in the state of Florida by far, especially we're the largest in Q4 for sure. And so when we started on our own account, we had to sell it like you would sell any investor on a business. We went to them and we said, look, this is the product we have. This is the space and category, edible gifting, that we're trying to disrupt. And this is just product number one. And, you have volume guarantees. You have to go through that whole process and everything. But it was really selling them on our vision and that we were going to make it happen, and developing a partnership with them where they were equally invested in our growth and understanding that if we didn't have a certain overnight shipping price, we wouldn't be able to scale. And so it's been one of the most impactful parts of our business, and just knowing as a founder that you can go to them and they want to partner with small businesses, right? They want that vision. And in a sense, they're not investors, right? But they are investing in your business when they give you the right rate, because everything's based on volume. And the logistics behind overnight shipping are really complicated. So We make every single board fresh the day that it ships. It gets our production team during the holidays, they can make up to 15,000 boards in one day. And so we have over 300 people doing that. They come into the office as early as 3 a.m. They make fresh from scratch, cutting every cheese, cutting every meat, completely handmade, 15,000 boards. And then FedEx has to pick them up and ship them overnight to customers all the way from Florida to California. So it's an unbelievable undertaking. And people think, oh, we could do that. The amount of time, effort, and energy that has gone into figuring out this process is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, for me, it just sounds like a logistical nightmare. But, you meaning Boarderie, went from many people saying that the board shipping concept would never work, right? People, you had a lot of naysayers to Goldbelly basically sending you the largest check that they had ever given to a vendor. The presentation of the board, which you talked about when it arrives, is something that blew so many people away in our universe and was so thankful for them. How do you as a team address, the logistical issues of the product actually arriving intact? Because you're sending this charcuterie board, which you want to look fantastic, as you mentioned. There's a lot of parts, a lot of working parts that go to constructing that. How do you ensure and how do your team ensure that it comes intact and it's in that really presentable way?
So that's a great question. We actually have a patent on our product and the way that we ship it. And that's the secret sauce, right? So we have every single ingredient in the board is individually wrapped in a tray, and then the entire board is wrapped. And then we have custom insulated packaging, custom ice packs, and then it ships within 24 hours. But the packaging actually keeps it cold for up to 48 hours. And so if it's sitting on someone's doorstep for a day, it's probably still going to be cold and perfectly fresh when they receive it, because FedEx does an incredible job most of the time, right, of delivering it on time. And if it leaves our facility at 7 p.m., it's on some people's doorsteps across the country by 11 a.m. the next day.
Yeah. So basically just having all those components separated, individually chilled, that's really your secret sauce to making sure that it stays intact for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the temperature control, right? So it's in an insulated packaging. It has these special custom-made ice packs that make sure it stays fresh and cold. Because, of course, the last thing we want is any customer to receive anything that's not 100% fresh and made the day before. And so we go above and beyond to meet that standard. We theoretically could be shipping today, given that our packaging will last that long. But overnight is something that means a lot to us because we want every product to arrive as fresh as possible.
Yeah, we had a great experience with that regard. So I don't think anybody who's listening to this who's thinking about it, and we sent close to, I think, 200 boards. So we didn't have really any issues whatsoever.
Amazing. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. All this has really led you guys to being one of the fastest growing edible gifting companies in America.
Yep.
What lessons from that growth, because you've had tremendous growth, can you share with other entrepreneurs who are listening?
So yeah, we were just named the 8th fastest food and beverage company online in America, the 8th fastest growing online food and beverage company in America, which was really exciting. I think the main advice I have is there's no agency or there's no third party that is going to do it better than you can. If you're willing to learn and you're willing to put in the effort and the time into really knowing what your customers want and figuring out how to meet that need and advertise and speak to that. We have spoken to hundreds of agencies over the last 3 years, and we do almost every single thing in-house. So in 2023, I hired a VP of growth who is absolutely amazing, Lainey. So first year, it was just me, and Kevin, who is now joining our team as the head of marketing ops. But he was working for me freelance, at night. And then I hired Lainey in mid-2023, and her and I have done almost every single thing in this business together from a marketing standpoint in-house. So running all the paid ads, creating every single paid ad that we run, launching new channels, managing Google advertising. We have a great freelancer who works with us on that, but we keep everything very close to the vest, and we are 100% involved in every aspect of what we do from a marketing standpoint. We evaluate every single campaign, every dollar spent, because that is really where the difference between profitable growth and growth at all costs. And I don't believe in growth at all costs. I think there's a cost, right? There's a cost that is going to potentially tank the business for most businesses if you pursue that strategy of just spend, and acquire customers. We have always pursued profitable growth. I mean, I think it's made us a better business and allowed us to grow in a way that we feel confident about and have the money to reinvest into every single project that we want to pursue and really focus on building the biggest edible gifting company in America.
Sure. Now, how instrumental is Lori in those day-to-day operations, right? Or day-to-day decisions? Is it that you guys are doing this in-house and then running things by her to see if you're on the right track and maybe, have her adjust? Or is she just looking for a report? I think our listeners would be curious to know kind of, what's her involvement in your process of, what's the next, if you will?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It depends on what we're working on, right? So we love to involve Lori because she has a great high-level perspective on what people want. And so something she's been involved in lately is our new product, which is dessert boards. We've spent over a year and a half developing the most exceptional dessert product you've ever seen with 38 plus different ingredients, and almost everything's custom made. So we have custom developed recipes with chefs and bakers. And we have unbelievable chocolate truffles and barks from amazing vendors. We've really scoured the country for the best of the best. And it's taken us over a year and a half. But those are the types of things where she loves to be involved. She has lots of opinions about what people want and what's going to sell. And I think that's where we really have an amazing relationship with her. Is she'll go to a different place and she'll be in somewhere traveling and say, oh, I found this amazing dessert or chocolate and we should source this and try this. And it's just the ideation process where, if you're an entrepreneur, I think even at her level, you never stop doing things yourself. You never stop wanting to get your hands dirty and test and try. And, all of us have the mentality of we're not going to hire someone else to do that. We're going to do it ourselves. And she's right there with us on that.
That's great. True partnership.
Mm-hmm.
The dessert board that you mentioned, is that the next for Boarderie?
That's the next big thing. Yeah, for sure. And we're really excited about it. I don't want to give away too much, but it's one of the most incredible dessert products you've ever seen. If you're looking for a large variety of very high-end, extraordinarily delicious desserts, there's nothing on the market like this. And we've made it fun with a chocolate smash. So you break it and all this candy comes out. We have 6 different flavors of brownies and 8 different flavors of truffles and just unbelievable ingredients that we've sourced from all over the world, amazing flavors. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So imagine our cheese and charcuterie boards, but a full board of just the most amazing desserts you've ever had.
I'm getting hungry just as you're describing it. So our listeners who are listening to this, when is that going to be released for people to begin ordering?
Very soon. So for the holidays this year, it will definitely be available.
Okay.
We have 3 different sizes in development, but sooner than that. We don't have the official launch date, but very, very, very soon.
So by holiday time, 2025,
Yeah.
people, businesses who are interested in wowing their friends, family, or business contacts will have this as an option in addition to cheese.
Yep, absolutely.
And charcuterie. Amazing.
It's really just the beginning for us. The original company name was Cheese Border. And so we changed it when we launched Boarderie in 2021 because we knew that this was a space we wanted to disrupt, not just with cheese and charcuterie, but with every single product category. So whether it be wine, all different types of edible gifts. We want to be the largest edible gifting company in America. We have over 1 million people on our marketing lists, which is really exciting at this point. Our email, SMS, social media, TikTok, all of it. We have cultivated an unbelievable audience and they're excited for new stuff. And we get suggestions on social media every day about what people want and what they love. And the types of gifts that they want to share with people.
So many different things you can go, and I'm glad you changed the name because now you have a lot of upside from there with that as well.
Exactly.
So, being in the food business, talking about like cheese and desserts and all these things that you're in, I'm sure there's a lot of waste potentially, or I think in your business, they call it trim, that gets put on the side. What do you guys do with that?
We donate all of it. We donate every single scrap of cheese to organizations in our local community to help with homelessness, particularly homeless families. And so none of it goes to waste. That's something we're really careful about and something we care a lot about. And giving back to our local community in particular is something that really means a lot to us. We have over 300 people that work at Boarderie throughout the year who are from here, whose families are from here. And so we work with different local organizations like the ARC of Palm Beach County to give jobs to adults with developmental disabilities. We work with local food banks to donate all of these extra scraps and ingredients. Yeah, and it's just something that makes, I think, everybody feel really good about what we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And, I've gotten, in addition to being hungry, I've gotten a lot of joy out of our conversation today. And we are all about joy on the Midland Money Mindset. And, Rachel, the final question we ask each of our guests and our listeners, wait until the very end to hear this, because this is one of, if not the question they're always waiting to hear. And that is, what did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success?
It's a great question. And probably one that's prompting me to want to do more things in my morning that bring me joy. Right now, I'm really excited about our team. We're building a really amazing growth team because for so long, it has just been myself and then Lainey and I we've scaled the business to 65 million plus in revenue in just 2 years. And we've been growing. We grew 115% last year. And to do that from a growth standpoint with 2 people on your growth team is pretty challenging and exhausting. And so we're really excited this year to bring on some incredible new talent. So it's one of our new employee, Lexi's first day in office today, which I'm really excited about. And Kevin's starting tomorrow, someone who is really close to me because he helped me learn all of this from the very beginning when I knew nothing about direct-to-consumer or selling anything online. And so, I think my joy this week and this morning and today was getting to spend time with them and get excited about the future.
Building the team. Sounds fantastic. So listen, Rachel, we're going to have all of your information in the show notes. But if people want to learn more about Boarderie, learn more about you, connect with Boarderie, what's the easiest and the best place for them to do that?
If they want to order boards, it's definitely to go on our website, boarderie.com. It's BOARDERIE.com. And then they can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or at just Rachel, RECHEL at Boarderie.com. And then if you want to speak with our concierge service about ordering a big order, like what you guys did at Milton, would be just info@boarderie.com. So they're always there to help. We have an amazing customer service team and they go above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for wowing the families we serve with our 20th anniversary gift to them. It was so well received. We got more thank yous from the families we work with than we ever did on any holiday end of the year gifting that we've ever done. So I'm excited to see what the dessert boards look like and more importantly, what they taste like, because I'm really interested in that. I love desserts. Can't go wrong with those. And I appreciate your time today. Wish you guys the best of luck in scaling and getting the team in place. And I'm excited to see where you're going to go. And our listeners, I'm sure, will be excited to watch as well. So thank you again for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. And you'll definitely be one of the first to receive a dessert board once they launch. We'll let you know.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll look forward to it. Thank you for a fantastic conversation. Rachel, your journey with Boarderie from disrupting the food gifting space to winning over Shark Tank investors and landing on Oprah's favorite things is nothing short of inspiring. Your passion, resilience, and strategic mindset are a masterclass for entrepreneurs everywhere. Thank you for sharing your story, your insights, and the lessons that are shaping the future of your business. Listeners, if this episode fired you up as much as it did for me, stay tuned. There's always more inspiration coming your way. Rachel Solomon Fascitelli and Boarderie can be found across most social media platforms. All the contact information needed to find them can be found in the show notes.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Midland Money Mindset. Remember, it's not just about the money, it's finding joy in the journey and embracing the right mindset. If you love the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Don't forget to follow along for more tips and inspiration. Please visit the social links below to connect with Larry or his guests. Until next time, keep smiling, keep thriving, and remember to think about, what did you do today that brought you joy?
The opinions voiced in the Midland Money Mindset Show with Lawrence Sprung are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy ensures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Guests on the Midland Money Mindset Show are not affiliated with CWM LLC.